You all must have heard I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, cause you're watching Vilemike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, cause you're watching Vilemike and his real wild child.
Howdy, folks. Is Vilemike here, and I got Elihu already with me. How you doing, man?
Hey, weirdos.
So are you back from DC yet?
Yep, physically, yes.
What about mentally?
Nope.
So mentally, you're still in the nation's capital. I think that's a scary thing to think about because of how fucked up the nation's capital is sometimes.
That's really fucked up because prices, normally when a big event, normally when I'm not echoing right now, normally when there's a big event going on, prices are usually higher up. But for some reason, I checked yesterday, the price of Philadelphia are cheaper because I wanted to actually go to DC, then in Philadelphia, and then back home, but I couldn't. Now, for some reason, the tickets from DC to Philadelphia are $60, not 130. Like, wow.
And we got Jordan in the chat. We got Darren in the chat, and we pray in the chat saying blah. Both Darren and Jordan wanted to know if you either pissed off or
You're roboting, Mike. I cannot hear you.
I'm roping.
Roboting.
Hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Looks like for some reason the signal's dropping off, and I don't know why. Yeah, even Darren saying I'm roboting. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can fix that real quick.
Robotic beings rule the world. The humans are dead. The humans are dead. We melted their asses. Oh, sorry. No more Flight of the Conchords. Okay, never mind. I'll shut up. Sure.
All right, let me know in the chat if that's better.
It's a little bit better.
A little bit better?
Uh-huh.
Well,
and Darren, no, I did not.
I'm
sorry, what?
Well, Jordan says it's fake. I reset the mic just in case.
I flipped off the IRS building. I flipped off the Alcohol Bureau, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Fires building. I held the bird in front of the Edgar Hoover building, and here comes somebody else who's awesome.
How you doing, Bird? Go ahead and do your thing.
Sorry, it helps if I turn on the mic. Hello, world. It's Birdo Prey 5 Cuppa.
Dan, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How are you guys?
Oh, I'm peachy as always.
I heard you were roboting.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the signal strength just drops out. It was sprinkling earlier, and I'm wondering if that had an effect. Gorilla wants to know if you slapped any politicians, which depending on the politician, I think would be a public service.
If I answer that question, it would be a violation of YouTube terms and policies.
Oh. And Yvette's in the chat.
Hey, Yvette.
So, what I thought we could do, at least one of the things we could do was I picked up this little Lego thing for Power Rangers, actually produced by Hasbro using like Lego technology. Oh, Yvette, that my birthday was last month. I only posted the video yesterday because I was lazy. Yeah, my birthday was back in December. I was just
felt
posting
like
Kinder videos because I remembered to do so.
I felt like when I wished you a happy birthday in the comments that it felt like I had wished you a happy birthday not all that long ago, but I
Yeah,
figured
it was just me being lazy. The video
wishing it
that particular
again.
video had been up. It was just set to private. So as I said, I made
Yeah,
it live.
you
And then
released
posted,
quite a few videos yesterday.
yes, because I actually had a day off where I could do stuff like that. Usually I can't. I've got so much stuff to do. I don't have a chance to post videos. So I was like, all these things that I've been saving up, I posted yesterday. Yes, Darren, Lego technology. That's the best I can come up with. Interlocking brick technology, should I say?
Something like that.
And people gave me shit for doing my birthday stream on the following Saturday instead of Monday. Well, as I said, if you look at the date of the posting, the date on that one was on my birthday.
Well, today's my unbirthday, and I had 364 of those. So,
So let me see if I can get this to show. Unfortunately, the camera does not want to link up, but this is basically what it is. It's a really crappy Lego motorcycle thing. But I thought, what the hell? The original Green Ranger was something that me and Caddy kind of bonded over. We're not just the Green Ranger, the Power Rangers itself, because back then, when Netflix finally went to streaming, one of the first things we watched together was Power Rangers. And we watched the first, I'd say 7 or 8 seasons together. And, Tommy, of course, was one of her favorite Rangers, is one of my favorite Rangers. And the actor, of course, passed away last month. I'm not going to go into it too much. So when I saw this, I thought, I'm going to put this together on the stream, and then I'll probably put it on the eBay store anyway. But I thought I'd tell one of the funniest stories, because Caddy and I have actually met 2 of the actors who've played Power Rangers. Sorry, I'm just moving it over a little bit. We've met Johnny Young Bosch, who played the second Black Ranger for several years. In fact, I think he played one of these Zeo Rangers too. And he's the one who, in the movie, made the joke about his Zord being, or his Zord animal spirit being a frog. If you ever watched the Power Ranger movie. Yeah. But we met him at Comic-Con one year. And then a couple years before that, when she was, I think she was about 4, maybe 5 years old. My buddy Dan gave me a call, and he told me, he sent me an address via text and said, just pick up your daughter and get here quick. And he didn't explain any further than that. Now, to explain a little bit, this is this side of the story he told me. Dan was a 7th degree black belt in one of the, not necessarily karate, I don't know what it was exactly, but one of those martial arts that actually does 7th degree black belt type stuff.
Taekwondo.
Now, he was judging a tournament that was here in San Diego. Actually, it was in either Vista or Oceanside, I believe. That's northern San Diego County, for those that don't know. And during one of his, during judging, this guy comes up, and he has no idea who it is. And basically, the crowd goes crazy, but he's just like, who the hell is this guy? And why is the crowd going crazy? And the guy starts performing a kata that he's judging. And then the person performing the kata just stops mid-kata and goes, you know what? This isn't extreme enough, and walks off the mat. And according to Dan, he said he was about to give that guy a big fat 0 for judging, for doing this. But the crowd was just like murmuring and doing stuff, and he was kind of confused about what the crowd was doing. So he, they're about to call like the next person to show up. Instead, the person doing the kata walks back on the stage, dressed in the Green Ranger costume minus the helmet, and starts performing the kata again. And that's when he realized it was the friggin' Green Ranger. It was David Jason Frank dressed as the Green Ranger, doing a kata during a martial arts tournament. And when he realized that, he remembered me at the bar telling him that me and my kid were watching Power Rangers. So that's when he gave me the message to get my ass down there. And we actually caught him just before he was leaving. We got to talk to him for like 2 or 3 minutes. Unfortunately, I did not get any photos taken. But, yeah, it was pretty cool to do that because Dan was like, oh, I got to introduce you. This is a friend of mine. And what the funniest part was, I asked him what he ended up scoring him, and he's like, I'm not telling you that.
Hey, Mike, I'm still echoing.
I don't hear you echoing on my end. Does anyone else hear you echoing?
He's echoing for me. I'm echoing too when I talk.
Yeah,
I can hear it.
Wait, I just stopped. What happened?
Yeah, it stopped echoing now.
I don't know. I have no idea, but it's weird. As soon as Positive Candor showed up, you stopped echoing.
That's a good thing.
I didn't do anything.
Echo.
Now,
We're not talking about her show, okay? We're talking about something else.
So I just thought I'd share that story. I may have shared it before, but yeah, that was it. So basically, him and Power Rangers is something that me and Caddy have enjoyed for many years. We haven't watched every season of Power Rangers, but those that we did watch, we still talk about sometimes, including our favorite seasons or favorite songs, stuff like that. She might be showing up to, tell her side of the story, even though when I talked to her yesterday about joining the stream, she goes, Dad, I barely remember that.
All they had to do was get Alpha to redesign the Zords, go to the moon, destroy Rita's base, and boom, no more Rita Repulsa. Destroy a telescope at least. Come on.
Okay, if you're gonna get mad at the plot of Power Rangers, there's a lot more you get mad about. So just enjoy this insanity. So, and I just got the notification about Anti-Trekker's live stream. Is he still live?
He went this morning for his church service.
no, he's been off for a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's funny because I only just now got the notification. So while we chat, I'm going to go ahead and build this thing. So anything you guys else want to talk about?
Yeah, if you guys are upset that Anti-Trekker kicked you off the stream the other night, don't, because you guys didn't listen. He said, shut up, stop talking over everybody. That's why I kicked you off. Just in case you guys are wondering why he kicked you off the stream.
Who did he kick off?
A lot of people, because they kept on talking over everybody, he kept on saying, shut up, let somebody talk, and nobody would listen. So he just kept going, okay, bye. People were being rude.
I'm not going to get mad at him for that. That's up to him.
Yeah, that's his stream. I'm like, do it, dude. I'm not arguing. I couldn't understand people anyway.
But, I've been on streams where people talk over each other because things get passionate, and that's fine.
He kept on saying, hang on, guys, calm down. And nobody would listen. He's like, okay, bye. I'm like, thank you.
So who specifically got booted?
I forgot exactly who, but I know OG was one of them.
This is my shocked voice that LDG got booted from a stream for talking too much.
I am surprised he's awake right now because he was online last night, drunk off his ass, talking to Tim about algorithms and YouTube Shorts.
He can skip that conversation here. I have
think
no interest in talking about the algorithm.
I think I got that notification from PC on Twitter that LDG was drunk. Did you tweet that, dude? Or was that somebody else?
Darren saying Salty should have been doing that a long time ago. Yeah, I can imagine
thank you.
she's also doing
Keith
it.
Cook. Yeah, there was one more. I forgot who else.
Now, let's be in all honesty. I could see him booting me from the stream, so it's not like I'm trying to say I'm better than anyone. So don't think I'm trying to do that, please. I could be just as guilty of being loud and impatient with people.
Maybe loud.
I can be impatient too. I swear. I say as my voice starts to crack. And Captain KG's here. How you doing, boss?
Still kicking myself in the ass for not contacting you when I was stuck in Denver. 5 hours at the airport. Going on that, I'm like, hey, dude, get me the parking lot. Smoke me out.
I finally got the wheels on there. Oops. Already crashed.
Oh, you're playing Bird of Prey 5. Gotcha.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Is that a Lego motorcycle?
Well, this is Hasbro's version of Legos. I don't know the exact name of it. They don't have a name, like a thing on there that says the company. It just says Hasbro on the back.
Speaking of Lego, did you see the Deep Space Nine Lego?
I have not.
I've seen it.
Huh?
I'm not impressed because it's not all Lego.
What do you? Oh, we lost Candor.
There's a very, very detailed Lego, huge Deep Space Nine station.
Yeah.
Somebody put, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars maybe into building, and they claim it's all Lego, but when you read the detail, it's not all Lego. There's a metal skeleton.
Oh no!
So that it holds together.
I can forgive that because if it's that big, even Lego things at Legoland have skeletons sometimes.
I get
it. But it's not all Lego, so don't make the headline all Lego.
The life-size Lego astronaut at the NASA Air and Space Museum is all Lego. It's 100% Lego. I know that.
Well, I didn't say everything wasn't. I'm just saying they do use certain things, because it has to have reinforcement. Lego itself isn't always strong enough. Because especially, they even admit that they glue stuff together.
At least with glue, it's still, I can forgive the glue. But you can't forgive steel. Metal.
You can't forgive steel, but you can forgive glue.
Yeah.
It's like decorating a cake, but using plastic pieces instead of frosting. It's not pure decoration.
Hey, for Mrs. Vile's nephew's birthday, we had plastic pieces on his cake for decoration, and he still plays with them. He likes Paw Patrol, and I had some Paw Patrol stuff I was going to put on, or I was going to put on the store, but I gave them to him for his birthday instead.
I never saw a big deal with Paw Patrol.
Positive candor. Why?
Done forever. What's wrong, man?
You got dropped. Nobody kicked you off.
Yeah. I'm hoping it didn't do anything to him.
Shane, come back.
Yeah, so far that's all I've done. In addition to the bike.
Wow, so productive.
Yeah, I know.
Can you put the bike on camera?
I want to, but unfortunately, let's see if I can do it this way. There we go. Or is that upside down?
Sideways. There you go.
Okay, it's not a direct copy of the Lego motorcycle.
No.
It's a
But
snap piece.
it's similar.
It's still interlocking brick technology, which is, I think, what I was trying to say when I said Lego technology.
I'm okay with the Lego technology. I know Darren finds it amusing, but I get it.
Well, you guys ever watch a show called Kids Next Door?
No.
It was something Caddy watched as a kid. And the big joke about it was all the technology that the kids made was utilizing 2x4 technology. As in, it was just 2x4 wood.
Okay.
That was part of the joke.
Bum.
Bristle blocks. Well, it's interlocking bricks. So.
Like stacking plastic things as Lincoln logs or whatever, stacking logs.
Yeah, LDG at least apparently has heard of it. I don't know if it was a great show. I didn't really pay attention that much. I just remember hearing them talk about 2x4 technology. Wow. I just now found the pieces for the figure. And yeah, they really expect you to build everything. Because you have to put the whole figure together. It's just pieces.
Yo, LDG, blame Disneyland for the celebration. That's why prices are too expensive. I can't go down there right now. Everybody got quiet.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Now I can. Everybody got quiet for a second.
Well, the video froze and other issues. So hold on. Let's see if I. No, that didn't fix it. What the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
Nothing's frozen on my end.
So you can still see did you just see my hand?
No.
But do you see the Lego? Fuck.
Your icon has not changed. Your screen has not changed.
Okay, hold on.
Bert, are you frozen? Are you still there?
All right, so
I was using the Geologian machine.
Oh, no problem.
I saw the Lego thing, and yeah, he's showing the Power Rangers.
Yeah,
thing,
but
and then
my
it switched
thing,
to now it's
my
your
camera is
iPhone.
frozen, and I don't know why.
Huh.
My war with Star Trek YouTuber Orange River continues. Well, I don't know who Orange River is, so
I know who Orange Hat Review is.
He's a Generation Z YouTuber who talks about doing a review of TNG season 2, which is Darren's favorite season of TNG. He doesn't have the same feelings as Darren, or I would venture to say, I would think most of us older people.
Well, the thing is, I probably have different feelings than some of you guys, and I'm not Gen Z by a long shot.
Just because somebody has a different opinion doesn't mean you have to actually watch that person talk about it. And I'm echoing again.
Well, maybe we need Positive Candor to come back so we don't have any echo issues. Because I don't hear it, though.
Is your echo cancellation clicked?
Oh, I can check again. Audio. Yes, it is.
Bird, do you hear me echo?
No, I don't hear you, Echo.
I hear me echo whenever I talk.
No, what the hell? Hold on.
I might drop off without notice because there are some real life events happening with a family friend. So if I drop off, apologies.
No worries. Do I sound better or worse?
Better.
Let me talk. Okay, I have no echo now. Whatever you did, don't touch
Well, I
another
switched
thing.
to a different mic. I don't know why. I don't know why I think probably when OBS camera thing happened, it switched over to a mic I don't want to use.
Yvette says she can only hear Elihu echoing.
Huh.
That's weird. I
Does
don't hear
that mean
any
you
echo.
can't hear anybody else, Yvette?
Well, I have never bothered clicking anything, switching for the echo cancellation or anything like that, so I'm normal, so it shouldn't be my problem, my fault. It should not be on my end. But it's kind of odd.
Okay,
I'm the only one
let's
that
be
sees
honest,
the echo.
Elihu. You are far from normal.
Yes, we all know that, but still, I'm talking about my sound system. It stopped again,
Yeah,
she said.
that is weird. Is it? I wonder if it's the stream, or if it's you, or if it's my computer.
Well, she said it stopped, so let's not worry about that right now.
Well, it wouldn't be a CNA live stream without technical issues. And we got someone playing Space Engineers.
Hey, hey.
We got some Rocky Mountain Head.
Rocky Mountain Head. That sounds wrong.
It very well could be.
What is that game you're playing?
Space Engineers.
Space Engineers.
Oh. Okay.
You don't remember us all playing that?
Yeah, I barely remember that.
Had to be like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
God, that seems like a long time ago. Or it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it apparently was.
Have you guys been able to see the comment?
Nope, it's been cloudy.
Apparently,
Is this the one? Is this the purple one?
green one.
Green one.
Apparently, my friend Antonio is getting some great views from Orlando.
Well, I can tell you, Lego would not allow something like this to be made. It's already violating some of their rules for how to make their products. You ever see they got a list of rules that they don't break when it comes to their toys?
No.
And I don't, have you actually ever had a Rocky Mountain oyster, Darren? They're not too bad.
They're very chewy.
Not if they're broiled long enough.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Darren is shocked, I say, that I've had Rocky Mountain oysters.
And I Jedi Bill had them.
Yeah, they're just meat.
Yeah.
And Yvette's saying that she was watching the comment live, but she can't see it from here right now.
Oh.
Yeah, Darren, you have no idea then because
He's not happy. Look at that. He's not happy. Why are you not
if
happy,
you had
dude?
said that to any of the other guys at the time who were eating them, they probably would have killed you. Because this was, well, it was kind of gun-toting, you know, those types of people, including my dad and me. But I'm not one of those people.
Just because you're not quote unquote gay does not mean you've never had to eat rock mackerel oysters. That's a derogative statement, dude. That is a derogative statement.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, Elihu, even my daughter uses it, so I'm not going to complain.
And it's still considered a derogative statement according to YouTube Terms and Services.
I'm not going to care if my daughter, who is dating a girl, says it like that. I don't care. More like John Wayne from True Grit.
John Wayne was a pussy.
That's not a
I dare you to say
derogatory
that to his
statement.
face.
No, he was a weak ass wimp.
So how do you decide what's a derogatory statement?
According to YouTube,
So
Oh, now I'm
YouTube
hearing something.
guidelines.
What's going on?
I can call somebody a pussy, I can call somebody an asshole, I can call somebody a dick, but I cannot use the derogatory sexual orientation name as a derogatory term.
What's the derogatory sexual statement?
That is so gay, unquote.
That's not derogatory.
It is to people who are gay.
What if I'm gay and I say it's not derogatory?
General statement, yeah, you may not feel offended, but general people do.
Who are you to say what general
Elihu.
statements are?
Elihu, I am as liberal as it comes, and I'm saying it doesn't matter. Again, if my daughter, who is currently dating another girl, says it like the way that Darren was saying it, I'm going to say it's fine to say.
Okay, if you're not taking offense to it, you're not taking offense to it. Some people might take offense to it, some people might not.
Some people might take offense to the word orange. It doesn't mean it's offensive.
Yeah, yeah. You can be polite and not use it while in their presence, but doesn't mean you don't always have to be polite, Elihu. And this stream is an example of that. We're not always polite.
Oh, I know that.
So I'm not going to complain all that much about it. If someone else feels offended by it, then by all means, they have every right to be offended.
I mean, I understand there are offensive words out there for being gay, but gay is not one of them.
No, I'm not.
And
the word gay is not.
And if someone had used that term to be derogatory to someone else on this stream, I would definitely ban them. There's a big difference between doing it to be funny and doing it to be actually insulting. And I think you would you know that, Elihu.
I do know that.
So
I know, that's why I said, Darren, what? You're not happy?
where does this part go? Do they give me an extra part that I can't, because I can't see where this part goes?
Lego often gives extra parts.
Oh, I see.
Dude, if you're going to sell something Lego, if you look at the instructions, you're not doing it right. Remember, once upon a time, Lego did not come with instructions on how to build something.
Your point?
Yeah, but they were much simpler back then.
I know. But that was the challenge of Lego. No instructions. Build what you see on the picture. Okay. I love that. Now it's like, insert this part over here, but these little small parts, like, oh, come on. This is like IKEA.
Well, I'm going to see if I can turn the camera back on now that I got the bike built without the stickers put on yet. And yes, it comes with stickers. So, nope. So I'm going to be
Go
right back.
crazy? Oh. They just say, go crazy. So you got Twilight Zone today, Bird?
Yeah, 2:30.
There you go, Yvette. I know you're listening, so. I wish the news would cover something else besides this damn football game.
Oh, that's right. I gotta check the football game for the Picard trailer.
The trailer's already been leaked online. It's just intercut with football clips. That's it.
No, that's a preview of the trailer.
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen that. That's a very short trailer. The actual trailer is yet to be shown.
Well, in the age of the internet, I don't have to watch a football game. I'll wait till it airs online.
Wow, I was playing poker and somebody with pocket aces just beat somebody with pocket kings.
Wow.
I'm glad I folded before that happened. Now I'm going all in with pocket tens, and I got 3 tens. So I won.
Nice. Football.
Okay. Okay. Has the game even started yet? Because I got it recording.
No, they're just talking about game this, 49ers this, 49ers that. I'm like, tired of this shit.
This is the bike so far. So basically, it's a little motorcycle with a bunch of crap put on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stickers on now. We'll see how it looks when it's done. But this thing is, in my humble opinion, this thing's freaking lame. I don't care that it's a genuine Hasbro product. The plastic quality is not very good compared to Legos or even freaking Max Bricks. And I'm not saying that just because Max Bricks is one of my clients for my day job.
The football game is not until 6:30 p.m. Eastern, which means that halftime isn't going to be till like 8 p.m. Eastern.
And actually, no, they actually shorted me a brick. Now that I'm looking at it. And they didn't even bother with the instructions. They didn't bother putting on where the stickers go on the instructions. As some, if I was to be like a professional reviewer when it comes to toys, I definitely give this thing a failing score. Despite the fact that I like Power Rangers, I like Lego type products, and I like Hasbro. Maybe they're just like, oh, people are smart enough, they can figure it out on their own. No. This is meant to be built by kids, not adults. And kids are stupid. Hell, adults are stupid. Most of the people on the stream are adults and they're still stupid.
I was stupid, and I'm alone. See how stupid that joke was?
Yes.
Whoa, Mike. Whoa, sounds bad echo.
Yeah, something's wrong with your setup, Captain KG. Maybe it's because you're playing the game.
It is. It's because I'm playing the game. So that's why I'm on mute.
Yvette, the reason why your name was said because Bert is doing Twilight Zone today as a reminder for you. Sorry, I was looking at the pictures of the comments. Sorry, go back to the chat.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Mega Bloks used to own the license for Power Ranger interlocking brick toys, and they were much better than this. I don't know why they lost the
Mega
license.
Bloks. Was it? Mega
What?
Bloks. The Mega Bloks I had bought were pretty crappy. The
I'm
Mega
saying they're-
Bloks Enterprise was just disastrous.
Oh, really?
Couldn't
The
be
Mega-
built.
The Mega Bloks
Well,
are the go boss of the Lego world, okay?
Well, I'm saying that these are worse than those.
That's wow.
So
I bought a lot of cheap fake Legos off AliExpress over the years, and they're surprisingly good. They're better than Mega Bloks on the whole. At
have
least
you
the
ever
ones
heard
I
of
bought.
have you ever heard of Best Lock brick imitation Legos?
I feel like I have, but I don't remember them offhand.
Every time I've seen their products, they're usually like simple type stuff. Like occasionally they'll have a zombie, but it's just not associated with any specific type of zombie, like any franchise or anything like that. And they'll have police and firemen and average stuff like that. But one time I saw that they actually got a license, kind of like Star Wars or Star Trek or something like that, or Harry Potter. Which one do you think it was?
Harry Pothead.
No, because Lego had Harry Potter.
I don't know.
They had Stargate,
Huh.
and they actually produced a number of Stargate sets. And if you actually look, some of them go for quite a bit of money now just because of the Stargate name. No one really cares about, the bricks themselves because they suck, but they actually have some Stargate sets. They even made mini things like small scale ships and stuff, like the Daedalus or the Prometheus and stuff like that. Elihu, do me a favor and look them up for me since I'm working on this and I can't do it.
I'm sorry, I'm loading a ball right now. I can't. My hands are full of
Best Block?
icons.
Is that what you said it was?
Yes, Best Lock.
And Darren reminds us that Tim Russ is on the Shuttle Pod podcast today.
Oh shoot, I didn't see Darren was trying to come up.
Oh,
I
hey,
thought I'd
Darren.
drop in so we can have a gay old time.
Oh,
As
boy.
long as
This
you don't
is
walk
not
out of the
the-
house.
This is not the Flintstones, okay?
Power. Fred's 2 feet.
And where do you go? The one sticker, I can't tell where it goes because there is no.
Over LDG's mouth.
Well, I'd love to put it there, but I can't.
So Salty began showing some discernment with his guests last night, I hear, after I left.
Well, what was the conversation even supposed to be about?
Well, I don't know. I left after a while. I basically left because, and I won't name names, but he has a problem with letting people on who can't socialize in this way. You know what I mean? Whether they're chemically enhanced, like Elihu or LDG. I guess I am naming names.
Oh,
or they're disabled in some way and just simply can't. You know, he's got this free for all attitude, and it's like, okay, you can do that, but it's going to lower the quality of your streams if you do that. So show some discernment, and things will right itself. You know.
Oh, did I boot Bird?
No,
No.
I've got the best block Daedalus up if you want to.
Okay.
See
Yeah.
it.
This is what I'm talking about.
You closed it.
No, I tried to bring it up. I swear.
You opened it and then closed it. Now it's open again.
Yeah, they had the license for I think 4 or 5 years, and the sets I saw them at the only place I ever saw them for sale were at Big Lots, and they were really cheap, and I still passed on buying anything. Which now I'm like, damn, I should have bought them, because like the giant Abydos set it had a pyramid, it had a death glider, it had a F302, was like $10. And if I had known how much they'd be worth now, I would have bought the whole thing.
At the Sphinx too, it appears.
Yeah, but as you can look at it and see how cheap it is. It's not, well, you're looking at it. It looks stupid, but on the secondary market, it's going for money.
Mrs. Vile is in the chat.
All right, everyone say hi to Mrs. Vile.
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
Good morning.
Morning.
I told her when she's listening to the stream, I'm going to give her a code word. And when I give her the code word, she needs to get me more coffee.
What's the
That
code
word is
coffee? Coffee.
Get me more coffee.
I thought it was now, woman.
Did it just do that to me? God damn it.
That's your common law wife, right?
My camera froze again, and it was... Yes. Why? All right, let's do this again. What the? Something is wrong with my webcam.
It's possessed.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, I'll work for a few seconds or a few minutes, and then all of a sudden, fuck you.
Restart your computer.
Like, I'm on the, I'm streaming live, so it's going to suck to restart the computer right now.
We'll
All right, this is how bad these imitation Legos are. Okay? The head of the figure has no actual painting on it whatsoever. And I don't think the camera is going to catch it because it's blurry right now because it's too close, but it has leftover plastic bits all over it. Like it hadn't been, like the mold was really degraded. And look at these freaking hands. These hands suck. It's like they tried to create a thumb on one side, so one side's a lot smaller than the other.
The best way to tell the difference between a Lego and a Mega Bloks is the Lego will hold a charging cord in its hand. The Mega will not.
Well, modern Mega Bloks, especially the Halo ones, are actually better than Lego minifigures, in my opinion. But it took them a few years to get to that point.
Are you going to make a review video about this toy you're putting together?
I just wanted to do it on the stream because of that way I could tell the story about how we met his actor and remember, because he died recently.
Yeah.
Plus, sometimes it's just boring talking. Now I get to play with a toy while I'm doing it, and I get to resell the toy.
Yay.
Wow. I think the figure is actually even smaller than normal Lego figures, too. If I can.
Oh, you want to know a rarity for a Lego? If you go to the Westfield Mall
What?
in the Lego store, you will not see one
And of
piece of
course,
Lego on the floor.
Of course, I gotta say, as soon as I finish building it, I'm showing it on the camera. What do I do immediately after? I drop it and pieces fall off.
Why would one see Legos on the floor of any Lego store?
Well, because kids play with Legos, they have occasionally got Lego on the floor or something. Employees basically admin to make sure every single Lego is off the floor. You ever try to step on a Lego, barefoot or not? They're
To
slippery.
be honest, I never had that problem even when I could walk. But we were a house where people wore shoes inside. So
Yeah, yeah.
I never.
Well, do you guys think I should put it on the store, or do you think I should just keep it for myself and put it on display?
You like it, just keep it on display. And how much could you get for that?
I wasn't actually saying it yet. But if you want to make me more coffee, let me take a big gulp and I can hand it to you.
If you sell it, make sure you include the title "Some assembly required."
Well, I think when it comes to Lego type products, Elihu, that's a little self-explanatory.
Yeah, but you got a lot more attention when you have the words in your title. Like, what? What? Really? You got a lot more clicks, man.
No, I'm just tired of stupid people. Because I recently had someone complain that something I sold that didn't work, that I said didn't work and was for parts only, they complained it didn't work. It's stupid people. One of my favorite
I
stories to
don't
tell
think
about
it's
how stupid
stupid so
people
much as a
are
scam.
on.
They try to scam you.
No, I don't. Well, I have it in my listing that if I sell something that I specifically say doesn't work, and you complain that it doesn't work, you don't get a refund. And what's even better about that, he's like, "Oh, it did not say that on the listing," and I showed him a screenshot of the listing with that section highlighted, just using MS Paint to circle that section.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Back when I first got out of the service, I got a job as a hotel night auditor at the Holiday Inn Express, and
no, oh, go ahead, Darren.
And
Darren?
it was right when we started getting, Priceline and .com, Expedia.com websites were starting to get into the whole reservations business. So we would get these electronic reservations where the website would scan our availability for a given date, and then make a reservation for somebody. And we have people come in, and they would get to their room, and then they'd come back down just upset because they said we were told, and this is how they worded it, we were told we were going to have a sofa bed. And I'm like, do you have your and I saw they were a Priceline.com reservation. I said, do you have a printout of your reservation? And they showed it to me, and I'm like, okay, see where it says sofa, bed. It doesn't say sofa bed. And you try to politely let them know that punctuation in these things matters.
Yeah.
And then they would demand a free cot. Then of course, so we and it's a $10 charge for the cot, but we write it off just to ensure they don't give us a bad review for only having what we had. It's your problem is with Priceline.com. And your third grade reading teacher, because it's not our issue. Why should we lose $10? But we didn't fight over that kind of stuff. So it was but yeah, people not reading things correctly. It's why reading comprehension is important in school.
My favorite thing about that was exactly what you're talking about: reading comprehension and knowing certain things. Because now I took it down. I used to have a phone number attached to the eBay store, but the phone number could only be found on the store's Facebook page, not on the eBay store page. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So this lady who purchased something from me was smart enough to find the phone number and give me a call so she could complain.
Right.
Now, she had purchased for her son Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 for the Xbox 360.
Right.
According to her, she wanted a refund because this was her son's Christmas present, and what arrived was Grand Theft Auto V and Grand Theft Auto IV.
Yes.
And I was like, ma'am, those are Roman numerals. They are the Roman numerals for 4 and 5. You do know the difference between Roman numerals and Arabic numerals, right? And she goes, I don't know nothing about no terrorist numbers. So I spent about 10 to 15 minutes explaining to her what Roman numerals were and what Arabic numerals were.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how she was smart enough to find my phone number, but she wasn't
Right.
smart enough to know that.
Well,
I was amazed.
So she's
Yeah,
smart
in
enough
the-
to find Arabic numbers, but not Roman numbers to call you? Wow.
Yeah, in the 80s, you had movie sequels that used Roman numerals, but they dropped that. Hollywood did by the 90s because not enough people recognized Roman numerals. You know,
You should have just called them American numerals.
yeah,
Would have
but
been fine.
they didn't know that either. But yeah, it was, like Rocky 4, it's great big Roman numerals. It added a level of seriousness. Star Trek 4, Star Trek 5, well, not Star Trek 5, but Star Trek
Yeah.
6, and people just commonly knew that those were Roman numerals and saw them as they were supposed to. But then in the 90s, all of a sudden everything, started changing. You don't see any Roman numerals anymore. People got confused. People got confused when Batman versus Superman was stylized as Batman v. Superman.
Yeah.
They didn't know what the V stood for because they're used to versus being VS, and it's like, and I kind of took umbrage with that too, since it's not a legal battle that's happening here. It's it's a physical battle, but yeah.
Client, how do you defend yourself? Martha. Sustained.
Yeah.
Why'd you say that name?
I actually liked that part of the movie. I thought that was pretty good.
Except it comes out so clunky because he's like, you got to save Martha. It's like, what?
He's delirious from kryptonite poisoning. I mean, that's not a problem.
Yeah, but if I was delirious, I wouldn't say my mom's name. I'd say save my mom.
Well, that's why he was that's what he was trying to get through to Bruce the whole time. And Bruce, of course, was, Batman was just trying to wail on him, trying to kill him the whole time. So his whole thing was staying focused and trying to get him to understand the big picture.
The whole point was, why the hell did he have to have that spear and go with all that fight? He could just showed up with the spear and be done with it. Come on. Why do the game with the fighting and the flying around when you end up in the exact same church in the first place? So the whole part was dumb.
Okay, I couldn't understand what you were saying because you were talking too fast and you were roboting.
I did not understand that part. I thought that part was stupid and dumb.
What part?
Why
What
place
part?
a spear
What
in the
part?
church? Why place a spear in the church when you can do all that fighting and running around? Take the spear in the first place. Boom, fight's over. Why have that
What do
cat
you-
and mouse game?
Well, what do you? He had to wear him down.
Hello, kryptonite, dust, the
Right.
grenade
He
thing.
has to get close enough to him to use it.
Yeah, but the odds of Superman and Batman ending up at the exact same place where Bruce put that spear in the first place? No, I thought that part was stupid.
Well, that was the building that they fought on.
Yeah, but they happened they were going around the city, 4 to 5 block radius. Look at it, watch the scene again. They had to end up at the exact same church. Bruce put the spear.
No, they fell. They were on the roof of a building. They fell through the building. They didn't go into any other building but that building. You watch it.
They went around the
Figure
block
out.
a couple
All right.
times.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
I
Watch the
don't
Ultimate
remember.
Edition.
Yeah. either way, I still think that movie was kind of dumb. I mean,
Well,
I remember.
I have
Do you
not
guys
seen
ever
the
watch
theatrical
Dark
cut.
Knight Returns? I think I've only seen the theatrical cut, to be honest.
Yeah, I the only one I've seen is the Ultimate Edition, which is about 45 minutes longer. It's the one that was supposed to, we were supposed to see that, it didn't get modified by Warner Brothers.
Well, I think a lot, even the Ultimate cut was still modified by Warner Brothers a little bit too much. But
Much
to me, that
much
movie
more
should have
coherent film.
broken up into two sections anyway.
You're roboting.
I might have to go back and watch it. Maybe it is better that way. But I don't know. I thought the animated version of Dark Knight Returns had a better Batman versus Superman fight. The one where Peter Weller, the guy who played RoboCop, voices Batman.
Yeah. Well, that's all based on Frank Miller's original piece, whereas the Batman v Superman was inspired by elements of that piece. So, yeah, there's a difference there.
Why is Mr. T trying to? Oh. See. Oh, okay, I'll be right back. I need to see Jaloja.
I'm guessing roboting.
Yes.
Am I still roboting?
Maybe it would help if I didn't have maybe it'd help if I didn't have a game up. Maybe that'll help bandwidth or something. I'll just put my avatar back on.
I don't know. I think it's just the signal strength, and as I said, it's sprinkling, so it might be that aspect too.
What do you got? HughesNet or something?
I have no idea what internet they use here at Mrs. Vile's place. But the only way I can smoke is if I'm outside, and the only way I can stay dry is to be in the car. And I'm in the car.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not on the phone. I'm still on the laptop, but and that it's weird how I've noticed that my phone sometimes will get a Wi-Fi signal a lot further away than my laptop does, and sometimes my laptop will get a signal when my phone doesn't. It's just weird
because they both use different frequency bands, and sometimes one's better than the other.
I can see it.
I used to get the calls all the time. A young hippie couple going out camping to their cabin out in the woods, and she's got an iPhone and has reception, and he's got a Samsung and doesn't have reception. I'm like, because they're two different phones made by two different manufacturers, and the antenna's using two different, signal bandwidths.
Yeah,
That's
where
why.
my younger kids were staying recently, they were complaining about not having a cell phone signal, and they have what is it? Not Google. Or what's the oh fuck, I can't remember what it was, but they've got a certain cell phone carrier. It's not Verizon, it's not T-Mobile.
Okay.
But they've got the one of the other ones.
Yeah.
Whereas my personal cell phone uses the T-Mobile network, and my work tablet uses the Verizon towers. And all of them had a shitty signal at that location. Whereas in some areas, like in Poway, my personal cell phone will have a shitty signal, but everything else is working great.
Yeah.
what else should we talk about, guys?
Well, you want geeky talk, or you want, what kind of conversation you looking for?
Oh, like usually at this point I'll ask something like, "What have you guys watched recently?"
Oh,
Because I'm still too lazy and I haven't watched a lot of stuff. I still haven't watched Picard season 2 yet.
you're not missing much.
I'm trying to rewatch Doctor Who right now.
Mhm.
Because I haven't watched the Josie Whittaker era yet.
You haven't missed much.
But I figure I want to rewatch everything so I'll have, all the knowledge base I can possibly have refreshed. And I'm actually kind of, like the first 5 seasons up until David Tennant, until he left the show, I was surprised
Yeah.
about how interconnected everything was. I
Yeah.
don't remember it being so, everything
Mhm.
relaying from one episode to the next. Yeah, it was different stuff, but everything had a kernel of a longer arc going
Right.
the entire time, those all 5 seasons. And I don't know if that's how they planned it out or if that's just how it ended up.
It's called
That's just-
continuity.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why that's one of the more beloved, New Who segments was Russell T Davies was the showrunner, and he had a very tight control over most of it. He had a couple of one-offs in there, but and yeah, whoop, I'm getting killed by gorillas.
Okay, Jordan, get him. Get him, Jordan, get him.
I was gonna say, Jordan, stop killing the other guests. But yeah, that's basically what I've been watching recently. I'm finally up to the second season with Matt Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing you'll notice is there was a bit of a soft reboot between the Tennant era with Russell T Davies as showrunner and Matt Smith's era as with Stephen Moffat as the showrunner. And a great example of that was you must have seen the one by now called Victory of the Daleks, where it's during the London Blitz and the Daleks are the secret weapon against the Third Reich. Yeah,
Yes.
well, Amy didn't know what a Dalek was, and according to the continuity of the Tennant era, she should have, because Earth was invaded by the Daleks, and everybody knew on Earth what a Dalek was, and she didn't know, and Matt Smith just kind of looks at her and realizes she doesn't know, and he doesn't understand why she doesn't know, and then he realizes that something has happened to the continuity, but then they don't touch it after that. That's a soft reboot.
The way I looked at that was it wasn't that everybody didn't know what that was. It was just her specifically, and it was in my own headcanon. It was because of the whole crack in her wall thing. That's
right,
why
but that's still called a soft reboot. It doesn't matter what mechanism you use to accomplish it. It doesn't. No, Rory didn't know what they were either.
Even if it's just one character,
Rory didn't know what they were either. And
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, and that's it. And then there's nothing wrong with a soft reboot. Sometimes it can be very cleverly done. And when you're dealing with a show that has time travel as one of its main elements and history being written and all that kind of stuff, it's par for the course. But that's one of the things that I actually liked about Matt Smith's first season was that enabled them to cherry pick what they wanted to continue with, later on. So, for example, Matt Smith's doctor was still familiar with what an ood was, because those were introduced back in Tennant's time.
Yes.
And obviously the weeping angels were still something he remembered, but there were some things that they could drop for the sake of storytelling. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I didn't like though was the episode with the weeping angels where they said that an image of an angel becomes an angel.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, go ahead.
Well, didn't they establish like a couple of seasons earlier that the Statue of Liberty is a freaking giant weeping angel?
Yes,
they did. Yeah. They did, yeah.
So,
and the the thing that the Weeping Angels remind me a lot of the Borg over in Star Trek, in that their initial appearance, they were badass, but then each time you saw them, as they got more and more fleshed out, they got weaker as a concept. And yeah, that's kind of how I view them. The Weeping Angels being sort of the Borg of Doctor Who, in that, they're nothing beats their first appearance. They were,
Yeah.
new and interesting, but then again, also one of the things that's kind of wacky about Blink, that's the episode that they debuted, was that if you watch it twice and you see it again, there's clearly moments when they should be moving but they're not, and it's because they get away with that on the first viewing because you don't know what's going on yet. You don't know what their mechanism is, what their limitations are and stuff. So Blink is one of those very interesting episodes that's really good the first time you see it, but then kind of starts to fall apart a little bit.
They chose not to move.
The next time you see it. Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, there's that. But yeah, originally,
But that's a good example of an episode that has interrupt. But it's a good example of an episode that has minor continuity issues, but is still a
Right.
great freaking episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're distracted by how creepy they are. I mean, the biblical connotation of the fallen angel figures prominently in their iconography. They don't say that they're fallen angels, but yeah. But yeah.
And then I didn't realize as much that I had missed like 2 episodes of the Donna era that I just never watched until this rewatch.
Dr. Donna, come on.
And
what episodes were they?
Ironically, it was the Dr. Donna episode. I somehow skipped that one. I never realized it. I saw the episode after, and I thought, okay, what's going on? And I didn't realize that I missed an episode.
The Dr. Donna was one of the last episodes of that season, though, where
yeah, and somehow
then
I missed
he had to
it
erase
on the
her
first
memory.
watch.
Yeah, weird.
And then the other one I missed was the Christmas Carol episode, where they,
Clifford.
He keeps going back in time and augmenting the Scrooge character's history.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones of all time. I think it's the most Christmassy of their Christmas specials too. It's I just thought that was a really good one-off special. Yeah, the Dr. Donna thing is important going forward because in this, as we see in the trailer, Tennant's 14th Doctor is making apparently a beeline for Donna, and they're going to be together again, but they have to address that continuity problem, which is, again, Russell T Davies, all about the continuity. He's gonna give you an explanation why things are different now.
I have the explanation.
Well, we'll see. Nobody really knows.
Basically, it happened. The doctor goes back in time before the memory got wiped, so she basically knows it as her doctor, her mate, her best buddy.
According to the trailer, though, it clearly takes place after that's her last episode.
Oh, I don't watch trailers, so
yeah, that's important to see. Yeah, because she's got a trans daughter, son rather, with the husband she had in her final appearance. That she's getting married, and it's on her wedding day, and the doctor gives her a winning lottery ticket as a wedding present.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's
several. I remember that.
Yeah, it's many years later now, and they have a trans child and named Rose, ironically, and so that's the indication of the passage of time. Plus, obviously, everybody looks older. They got the same actress to come back and play Donna's mother, which I think is great. I kind of
right. I love her.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Also a bitch.
She was, but she softened towards the end. She went through a bit of an arc, and you actually kind of thought she was pretty good. And she of course knows that Donna can't see the doctor, otherwise she'll die. And in the trailer, there's a very funny scene where she's trying to block of Tennant from being in view of Donna, and and she's like, well, "Who's that?" And he goes, "He's nobody. You can't see him." it's funny stuff. Yeah. So in fact, you probably could play the trailer, but yeah.
I'm not gonna do anything like that because every time I do it, I get dinged. Even if I don't have enough subscribers to be that kind of stuff, I just don't want the stream to be blocked.
Right.
I gotta
I mean,
go back in segments of like 4 or 5 streams already that I've just been too lazy to do because when I look on the list as on my other YouTube account, it skips certain CNA streams and it's annoying to see like CNA 74, 75, then it jumps to 78.
Yeah.
I wonder if Tennant will actually still say his iconic last lines. I don't want to go.
No, there is a rumor that his final words were, "Okay, I'm ready to go." Because he's only going to be the doctor for the specials that are happening over the next like 2 years, I guess, and then that's when Shudi Fatwa comes in as his doctor, and it's weird. It's like the trailer makes it look like that Tennant's doctor has unfinished business. That's kind of the whole reason why he's back. But here in the private chat, I put the trailer. You can watch it amongst yourselves. The thing that I really liked about it was that Tennant, obviously looks older, but he doesn't look so old that he doesn't. It's not jarring like some of the other doctors and how they've aged.
Well, remember when the doctor asked, "What's next?" The curator said, "Familiar faces."
Yeah, exactly. That kind of let it set a precedent for these kind of things. So,
and if we're going to be worried about though that doctors looking older or younger, depending on the actors coming back, they should just cast Paul Rudd as the doctor.
Yeah. that is true. He ages very, very well, but yeah.
Although,
no, I mean,
since Yvette's in the chat, I got to ask her if they ever cast an American to play the doctor, how mad would she be?
Well, they've already cast a Scottish, so what
Yeah.
My joke was that they should cast Chris Hemsworth as the new doctor, and have him, instead of having a sonic screwdriver, he's got like a sonic hammer.
That would be funny.
She's channeling her inner Kronos.
Man, Yvette.
Paul Rudd plays Ant-Man in the MCU movies. Yvette, he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a comedic actor.
He has Dick Clark syndrome, okay?
And he doesn't seem. I mean, he ages extremely well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's called Dick Clark syndrome.
And she says, if
an Australian
English or Scottish accent, no problem. Have you seen most American actors trying to do an English or Scottish accent? It's always horrible.
Yeah.
I got a Deloja. I'll be right back, guys.
The English actors do an American accent a hell of a lot better than what Americans do.
I will point out, though, that not every accent that British actors have done and that it's American is perfect. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch does a pretty good job with Doctor Strange, but there are other movies he's been in where he's played people from, like he was supposed to have like a whatever that accent is that the Kennedys have, the
Bostonian accent.
The Bostonian, he could not pull that off. It sounded terrible. I mean,
are you talking about the Imitation Game?
I don't think it was that, but it was this other. He wasn't the starring role. He was a supporting player in this thing where he was playing a Bostonian. His voice was artificially staccato, high. It was like what do they call that? Falsetto. It was like a falsetto voice. It just didn't work. The Brits seem to be able to, by and large, mimic our accent well enough to fool me in most cases.
Yeah, but, I didn't know that Daniel Radcliffe was British until I actually heard him speak. I'm like, really? I thought he had an English American. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was continuously surprised. Bob Hoskins, British. I saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I thought, wow, he's pretty good. And then what was it the main actor on Walking Dead who played a Southern sheriff? He was a Brit, and I was like, whoa! And you hear him in in an interview, and you're like, oh man, they're taking over, you know. But the thing that everybody talks about, of course, when it comes to Americans trying to do British accents, is Dick Clark, which was his accent was perfectly fine for me as a tiny little kid, you know, which is what kind of Mary Poppins was kind of designed for, you know. I don't know. I mean, Michael Fassbender does a pretty good, but he's British German, but he doesn't have. He's got like no accent, I think, in his personal life, but I don't remember. But
all right.
Anyway,
I didn't know Hugh
I'm
Jackman
back.
had an accent until I saw an interview after he did Oklahoma. I'm like, what? Wait, what the hell is he? He's not American?
yeah.
Hold on.
No, it's just it was just
Darren Wagner real quick. Darren, when you said Dick Clark, did you mean Dick Van Dyke?
I meant Dick Van Dyke. You're
Okay,
absolutely right.
okay,
If I said Dick Clark, I was incorrect. Yeah, that was
chim chittery, chim chitty, chim chim
yeah. The other
I was
Dick.
like, Dick Clark wasn't in Mary Poppins.
No.
Right, you're absolutely
thinking
right. I
about that,
misspoke.
dude.
Yeah, you mentioned Dick Clark earlier when you're describing Paul Rudd, and I guess I had Dick Clark on the brain. So.
Yeah, Dick Clark syndrome, young in this.
Yeah.
Or as he was known before he changed his name, Penis Van Lesbian.
All right, that was funny. Insensitive, but funny.
That was funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I mentioned this earlier. I seem to be in an argument. There's a Star Trek YouTuber named Orange River who actually does some pretty good videos. I like him a lot. They're very professionally sounding, and he's clearly broadcasting or taping them from his bedroom, but he's got really good lighting and really good everything. And he's got some great things to say, but he did a review of Star Trek II, and he made a mistake that a lot of people tend to make when looking at material from a different generation or from a different era. They don't put themselves in the spot of somebody from that era. And he's reacting to things from a Generation Z point of view, where everything is hyper politicized and everything is, offensive and such. And so that's where I was kind of like, I was pointing out to him that, this wasn't a problem back then, just, Deanna Troi getting impregnated by a little ball of light. We're like, oh, okay, well, that's peculiar. And then we move on, but now they're wanting to, generate an uproar regarding it. Yeah. So that's where we're kind of sparring.
On that one, Darren, I will have to disagree with you, because I remember when being on the old Trek BBS boards and people complaining about it being rape at the time. And that was back when the episode first came out.
Well, I again, it happened, basically, he used, the little ball of light used her body as an incubator. But I think what frustrates those people is that at the end of the episode, the little ball of light didn't suffer any real consequences for his actions, and actually left Deanna Troi with a really good feeling at the end. Remember the scene where she's holding the ball of light and it's telepathically communicating to her, and she all of a sudden goes from being, terribly sad to joyous. And and I think that's what they actually have a problem with, is the fact that everything is reconciled at the end of the episode when they don't think it should be. They want that little ball of light to suffer some sort of penalty for what it did to her, but what it did to her was all, was rectified in the end. I mean, there's other characters in Star Trek that have suffered like that.
From that point of view.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, I can see them being, upset from that point of view, but I can also look at it from the point of view of morality is subjective, and an alien species might have a different moral status than what humans of the 20th century would say would be proper.
Yeah, it frustrates them that the little ball of light wasn't subject to the judgment of humanity in that regard. That's what bothers them. And for example, there's another episode he talks about called Up the Long Ladder, which is one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek, where you had two colonies, one where these people called neo-transcendentalists that all just happen to have Irish accents and live like the Amish do, sort of. And then you have this other colony that was all clones. And he acts like the the most important thing about this episode was the depiction of of seemingly Irish drunk people, right? When that episode's much more serious and more hard hitting social commentary was over on the cloning side, when the clones basically abduct Riker and Pulaski and extract cells from their bodies for cloning purposes, and then the two of them find the cloning facility and actually kill their clones while they're in the incubators. That's some heavy shit, and to me that's what that episode should be remembered for, rather than a couple of Irish accents and some funny scenes where they're trying to drink synthahol. I mean, it's get your priorities straight here.
I agree, and it's just interesting how the generations definitely do look at things differently, and they got to look at it from their own point of view. And even if we disagree with that, with that person's opinion, we got to say it's just a freaking opinion. They can have that thought, and it's just as valid as anything else. Even if it sounds clunky and stupid on the surface.
But one of the things that because I'm an English major, I have my degree, and we took plenty of creative writing courses and went to a lot of writing workshops held by professional authors, names you recognize. Is that if you're looking at something that came out in a particular period of time, judging it by the current standards is a waste of time. You'd be appalled by everything that came out, that was written. You'd be appalled by Laura Ingalls Wilder books. You'd be appalled by, Sherlock Holmes and all these other period, what we would today call period pieces, where they were actually contemporary fiction in their day. And you wouldn't, and you would miss so many things if you dismissed those stories and those pieces of fiction. Because your modern sensibilities don't like. I mean, Moby Dick is a nightmarish book when by today's standards, and it was actually a failure in its day. But it had to wait a generation before it became considered an American classic. But even today, there's rape in that, homosexual rape in that book. There's all kinds of really nasty shit they do with the whales. I mean, half the book is all about the industry of whaling and what they did with the carcass below decks. I mean, it's one of those things where I think you're selling yourself short if you're gonna dismiss something because it's something that your generation would frown upon. Hard to do. It's hard to set that aside and look at something more objectively. But yeah, that's where I kind of differed with Orange River on a couple of things. But I actually do recommend his channel, even though I had a little bit of a problem with this most recent video that he did about season 2. So there's no real ill will, at least on my side, regarding it.
Even when me and the Vile Child were reviewing some of the older Star Trek TOS episodes, season 1 and stuff, that some of the stuff that we watched, it was kind of cringy to watch in retrospect, especially like the treatment of Janice Rand at sometimes.
Right.
And it's I can watch it from the perspective of like, okay, it was filmed in the 60s. This is okay for that time period. We can, as today, we can comment on it, but I'm not going to fault them for the time doing that kind of stuff, especially when Janice Rand herself, the actress, wanted the character to have the short mini skirt and stuff because it showed off her legs.
Right.
I'm not going to
those same.
I'm not going to fault sensibility for that. Sorry for interrupting you again, Darren.
Oh no, it's fine. I was interrupting you. It's great. But those same people who would get upset about Janice Rand and her miniskirt and how she was treated as the ship's yeoman or Kirk's personal yeoman would have no problem with a show like Mad Men, which depicts many of the same attitudes. But it's made closer to today, and it all has to do with context, I think. And one of the points of Mad Men was to show the differences between yesterday and today, whereas when you watch a show from yesterday, there there's things that they do that were harmless and standard. I mean, Orange River even gets after season 2 for having a clip show, and I'm thinking, does he not know that clip shows were a standard back then? The clip show was a way for especially during the holidays, for the cast and crew of sitcoms and other shows to have a week off and be with their families, for the holidays. So what they would do is they would film maybe one day's worth of work where two characters are sitting back reminiscing about something, and then the rest of the show would be, clips from earlier shows. And the reason why they got away with that again was, up until the late 80s, there was no home video market. Once a show aired, if you missed it, and you wouldn't see it again sometimes for years unless you caught it in the summer rerun cycle.
Well, I didn't have that issue because I'm a child of the 80s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, but that's why the clip show existed. That's also why TV shows from earlier decades, they have these long, elaborate opening credit sequences, like Voyager and Deep Space Nine, where they've got, a minute and a half long musical piece with special effects shots and the names of all the actors. Whereas a show of today, which is designed for binge watching, will just flash the logo of the show for a second on the screen, and then everybody will get their credits at the end.
They're taking that cue from Stargate.
unless
episode
hold on,
200.
Darren, unless the show has a badass theme. Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, unless the show has a badass theme song like Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then they play the whole thing every single episode.
But again, also, Game of Thrones was a tightly controlled show by HBO, and it's pay network, so they would do their little thing, and then they you couldn't. I mean, I don't know if HBO had reruns after, like maybe you could catch the earlier parts of the season, but in terms of like having like a Game of Thrones marathon, or maybe when season 5 came out, they did a rerun of season 1.
Yes.
That they didn't do that. I don't think.
Yes,
They did have things on Blu-ray.
Darren?
Yeah, and it's not a universal trend. But what I'm getting at is I'm talking about skews and commonalities here.
Well, I was
No,
going
you
to
look
say,
at-
after season 1, HBO did do the little binge of redoing season 1. And it is
Okay, great.
Season 2, them the exact same thing up at season 8.
Yeah. But again, pay TV, a little bit different dynamic there than other methods of watching TV. But yeah, but like television changes. Like I said, the clip show was a pretty standard thing, and we didn't really mind it, because a lot of those clips, like in the show Shades of Grey, that's the season finale of season 2. It's all about Riker having to relive previous traumatic events from earlier episodes in order to fight a virus.
And
or
that was
something
one of the
that's
ones that I
killing
thought was. What's funny is when that episode first aired, I remember enjoying it, but it's like after on rewatches, it's a slog to get through.
Yeah, if you've already seen those images, but you got to remember that the audiences back then hadn't seen a lot of those moments either before or in a long time, at least a year. They didn't have. You watched Star Trek when Star Trek was, deigned to be airing. You didn't have control like you do today with on-demand programming and such. That episode I actually do like. There's a couple of really good character building moments there where Data, catches the vine really quick. It shows his reflexes. Pulaski actually puts Chief O'Brien in his place when he tries to mess with her on the transporter pad. There's some fun stuff in that episode, but again, it's mostly Deanna Troi crying, saying hang on, Will, while he's reliving getting dragged into the Metamucil and black printer's ink that was the pool that Armus came from. Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm only not
I mean,
talking
I
because
remember-
I can see my signal strength dropping out again.
Yeah, I remember when every sitcom ever had an amnesia episode. There were certain episodes that were just standard with every show. And yeah.
I believe that's even a trope, so I'm going to look it up real quick.
Oh, probably is. I mean, Fonzie has amnesia. Potsy has amnesia, or maybe Ralph Mouth or whatever, and then you skip over to like Family Ties and Alex Keaton has amnesia or something. It was amnesia episodes were sort of stock fare.
Let's see.
Especially like character
tropes.
Yeah,
They have amnesia danger, amnesia episode, and amnesia loop.
right.
And so there's a whole episode trope about that. So you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. Or anytime you had an actor who had to wear a lot of makeup for a part, like Herman Munster or something, they had to have one episode where you got to feature that actor without the makeup. And even Deep Space Nine had something like that with Worf in one episode where Far Beyond the Stars, where he plays a ball player,
And the episode where Cisco is doing where he's a writer. Nobody had makeup on. You saw Garrett without makeup, Oda without makeup.
I couldn't hear what you said. Like who? What?
The episode where Cisco was opening a profit door, and he was also a writer back in time, where everybody had.
Right, that's the one I was talking about. Michael Dorn was a ball player. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, can you share my screen?
I'm looking at the list of tropes for just live action TV, and it's like every TV show has had it at least once.
Yeah, and there was such a thing. There was such a thing back then as formula television as well, where it was basically every episode had the same structure. So, at the bottom half of the hour, the bad guy sent two big, huge dudes to rough up Bill Bixby and run him out of town, and he turned into the Hulk. That was always the first time he turned into the Hulk, was when something like that happened, and then he'd change into the Hulk again 5 minutes before the end of the show at the climax, right? That was the template they used for almost every episode.
Miles shared that with me, Elihu.
What? Somebody's comparing Love Boat and Star Trek.
Mrs. Vile shared that with me earlier this week.
Oh, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
Yeah. I'm sorry. What?
Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's on Twitter.
That is kind of funny,
like what we were talking about being formulaic. When I started with talking about Power Rangers, I mean, every episode of Power Rangers is virtually the same.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because it uses stock footage, and it was
Well, not just because of the stock footage. It would be, they battle the monster, they fail, they either get a power up or they learn a lesson, and they come back and finally beat the monster. Then the monster grows, and then they, it was a formula.
You're right.
And you know what? It works.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you forgot the monster
best
attacking
episodes
the
are the
high
ones
school.
where they either subvert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm just saying the best episodes are the ones where they either subvert the formula or they play it so perfectly that it becomes codified.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about the Green Ranger, the original arc where they bring in the Green Ranger, where it lasts 5 episodes. Those 5 episodes basically expand upon an entire episode's formula into 5 separate episodes, and it worked so perfectly that he is now he was Mr. Power Ranger.
Right. Yeah. He supplanted the Red Ranger as their most popular guy. Yeah.
He wasn't the leader yet, but he was definitely the most popular Ranger for the longest time. That's one of the reasons they kept bringing him back.
Yeah. He was what they today would call a Sigma male. The Red Ranger was an alpha male, but Green and White was a Sigma male. I mean, somebody that existed outside of the structure of the team, but had, was able to fulfill temporarily the role of the alpha.
This is a sign from a Southern clean from somebody in the South. Can you read it?
Yeah.
It took me a second to get it, but yeah.
You know, the Dukes of Hazzard at the 5 minutes before the end of the show had to jump over something. You know, like the bridge collapsed. You know, Crawdad Creek overflowed and the bridge was out and had to jump over it, or you know, Daisy Duke had to break him out of jail every episode, the bottom half of the hour or something like that. You know, it's just
like cliffhanger from Earl. Will the boys escape this time? We'll find out.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
And that show was so formulaic. They literally replaced the two actors for an entire season, and were able to keep the formula going for every single episode.
They weren't replaced for the whole season, but yeah, I get your point. Coy and Vance were cycled out at the mid-season point. But yeah, it was interesting. The studio execs thought that the star of the show was the car, and that they didn't have to pay Wolpat and Snyder what they wanted, and so they got rid of them and brought in the new Duke boys, and the fans of the show had just stopped watching, and they had to emergency replace them. I kind of felt bad for the actors who played Coy and Vance because they thought they were getting a hit show, you know. But you know, I mean, Dukes was not my favorite thing. I could see your
little orange. Shoot, what was the person you were talking about? Orange something?
Orange River, yeah.
The reviewer of the Star Trek Orange River. Thank you. I could see them watching Dukes of Hazzard and complaining every single episode. Hell, I would, if I were to review it, I would probably complain about, you know, certain aspects of that show every single episode. But I would also say, hey, it was a product of its time.
Right.
And I'm not going to complain about the product of its time.
Right.
You know, there's a big difference between the certain aspects of Dukes of Hazzard, which I'm not going to go into, and something like, I don't know, Gods and Generals.
Right.
You know,
I mean, you can say that structurally television shows are better, but you know, yeah.
What else has been going on? Birds away. Looks like Captain's frozen.
Physically or mentally?
No, I'm not frozen.
You might have.
Just let it go if you are. Let it go. Let it go.
Whoa. Yeah, Cap, we're getting a lot of echo when you're on. Sorry, man.
Got a lot of things. He's got a lot of things going on in his little apartment there.
You know, one thing that was kind of funny. I'm a big fan of the Fallout series. It's one of the only games that I installed on this computer, right?
Right.
And I have it on my computer. I have my computer on me almost at all times. It's when I throw it in my bag, and I bring my bag with me even if I'm just going to work all day. That way, in case I need my computer for something, I can bust it out.
Right.
But despite the fact that I have it with me, I haven't played the freaking game in 2 weeks until I tried to play it last night. And I didn't realize that. I'm only playing it when I'm at Mrs. Vile's house now.
Look at that. Look at that. Captain NKG has trash on his floor. He just walked by and didn't bother picking it up. Look at that.
But it's funny. It's like I've got an Xbox 360 at home. I've got a PlayStation 3 at home. I've got a whole bunch of other consoles all over the place. And the only games I'm playing are on my freaking cell phone.
Jeez, dude. Leave your computer at home, okay?
So, which Fallout game do you have that you play at your common-law wife's?
Well, right now I'm replaying Fallout New Vegas, but I want to install the mod Tale of Two Wastelands, which combines Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas into one game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because they have the same engine. That would work. Yeah.
The only problem I have is this computer sucks, and although it has a terabyte of hard disk space, both games take almost 10 gigabytes of space with all the DLCs and everything, and the mod itself also takes 22 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't think I can run it at the best quality on this POS laptop until I buy a new one.
When are you going to get a new one? You've been saying that for a couple months now.
Well, unfortunately, I had to buy new tires, so I had to dip into the laptop fund.
I'll just walk everywhere.
So I still have the $400 that was donated, but when I added an additional like $400, I had to take $300 out of it to buy new tires.
Have you seen the image from the forthcoming Fallout series that's going to be on Amazon? I think it's on Amazon or Netflix. I don't remember which.
I have not, because I've been avoiding it because I want to enjoy the frickin' show.
Right. Okay. Well, I know what it suffice, but they had the first like set image, and it's of a red rocket, and it's pretty authentic to the games. I was pleased. It looked more like the one from Fallout 4 rather than other ones, but I mean, from a production value standpoint and accuracy standpoint, it seems to be on track so far. So, but I won't bring it up again if you.
Well, there is a series of fan films called Nuka Break. Have you ever seen those?
I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
I thought those were really well done.
Yeah.
And they followed the humor as much as possible that was present in early Fallout games. You know, Fallout 1, 2, New Vegas.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping it'll be similar enough to those.
Yeah. I'm hoping myself. I mean, I wouldn't want to hear about another, what's the one with Master Chief?
The Halo
show. The Halo. Yeah, I don't want to hear about another Halo problem, but with Fallout. But I mean, Bethesda and ZeniMax are usually pretty tight when it comes to that kind of stuff. They wouldn't let somebody else have, a piece of the IP without oversight. But we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah.
What's funny about the Halo stuff? One of the best, as far as I'm concerned, video game based movies was Halo Forward Unto Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I was never into Halo.
Have you ever seen that one?
I have not. I've never played Halo, so.
One of the reasons I enjoyed it, yes, Master Chief was in it, but Master Chief was not the main character. He was an ancillary character.
Okay.
And I think that is the best way to do most video game movies.
I think so too. I think that having the main character of the franchise being a supporting character and you focusing on a different one does a couple of different things. It makes it so you can put that character in danger, and have the audience actually wonder if they're gonna make it or not. If you had, it's like if you had like you say, a game with Master Chief as the main character and he seems to be in danger, and you're like, okay, yeah, they're not gonna kill him. So it kind of takes you out of it, if they do that.
Like,
so that makes sense.
It's like I would be worried if they ever made a Legend of Zelda movie or series that tried to follow one of the games, basically.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want a Legend of Zelda that follows like, let's retell the story of Ocarina of Time. No, I want them to do an entirely new, as if it was its own game story. They can use the same characters, but I don't want, because you never make the same choices as they do in the game.
Now, you mean like an Origin of Link?
No, well, there's multiple.
Not a prequel. No. So. Yeah. You don't want to do a prequel because you still can't kill off or put the character in danger. That's the Superboy syndrome.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, if they were to do something like, sorry for interrupting you, Darren, but
you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
If they were to do something like a different Link, like one that takes place in between Twilight Princess and the game that follows it, whatever it is on the timeline right now. Right. And they just have this new Link. Oh, we got someone else in the chat.
Yvette wants in. She's demanding to come in.
Who?
Yvette. She's demanding to come in.
Oh, no. Better let her in.
I know what Mike's like. He never checks his back. backstage basement.
Yep.
Yeah, Darren was hanging down backstage. What, 5 minutes?
I was patient. Yeah.
I've just finished sorting Mum. She's been fed.
Well, part of it
watered,
is because
Good.
when I'm looking at my screen for StreamYards, it does not show me anyone beyond the first 5 people. Especially when someone's sharing something, then it's only showing me 4 people. I have to manually scroll down to see if anyone else joins.
You don't hear a pop?
Anytime
You don't hear the bing?
Nope. Pop?
It does not do that for me, no.
That's weird.
Huh.
So,
if that noise didn't happen, I'd never let anyone in because I'm never looking in the backstage.
Yeah, mine doesn't make the noise, so I don't. That's why I don't see it until I look over to the right and I see someone has posted something in the private chat.
Oh.
So.
Oh, I didn't bother. I just put it in the main chat.
Couple of bird. Hope everything's okay.
Oh, bye, bird.
He's probably working on his stuff.
Remember, he said he had to pop out. His kind of like a semi-emergency, so he popped out. Hope everything's okay, bird.
Yeah.
It's because I turned up, really.
No.
But go back. If they introduced a new Link character, it could be a descendant of Link. They could easily have that character be on there and then put that character in danger and even have that character die, and it wouldn't matter as much to the main overarching storyline. It would just have to be a new Link and a new Zelda.
Well, they got a new Dungeons and Dragon movie coming out.
Yes, Mrs. Vial already said she wants me to take her to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that this whole Hollywood preconception with prequels, for me that kind of started with the Star Wars prequels, and
Darren.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I actually started with Planet of the Apes because after
you don't know what I'm talking about yet because you didn't let me finish. Ever since the Star Wars prequels, every franchise has been doing prequels. Star Trek immediately started doing prequels, and they haven't really done a sequel. It's until Picard. You had prequels in every other major franchise. That's what I'm talking about. Prequel mania more or less got kicked off by
Star Wars.
By Star Wars.
Yeah.
Prequels existed before Star Wars, but and it was almost like Hollywood thought that the reason why the Star Wars prequels were made money was because they were prequels. No, it was because they were Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And prequels create all kinds of extra problems that if you just would tell things in sequence, you wouldn't have these problems, like the fact that characters age. I mean, having Legolas in the Hobbit movies was a huge problem for me because it was clearly was older and had gained weight, and it's like this is supposed to be Legolas at a younger point in his life, but he's clearly older. It gave us some problems. They did it for star power, basically. They didn't, they wanted to have as much hearkening to the Lord of the Rings as possible. But and then we've got the Amazon show, a prequel that seems to mischaracterize characters according to what I'm seeing and such like that. I would like us to not do prequels anymore, to get out of that.
It screws up the law. It screws up the law. That's the bottom line to a prequel.
Right. It does.
If they're not concentrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I just want to say there are certain prequels that seem to be doing pretty well. I mean, Young Sheldon did a pretty good job, even though it did screw up the canon of Big Bang Theory a little bit.
Young Rock.
As well as the House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Young Rock is doing actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai, even that.
I mean, it creates.
Well, it's not a prequel, but it's still.
Yeah. Prequels, by their very nature, create a whole new set of problems and things that you have to overcome in order for them to be successful. And that's for me, every era of Star Trek should have been left alone once it was done. This talk now about potentially having a new series where a young Picard is in command of the Stargazer. I'm not interested because I already know what the ultimate fate of the Stargazer is. I already know what the ultimate fate of Picard is. Now, as far as establishing other characters that we don't know anything about and whether they're going to die or not, yeah, you might be able to work with that. But the general idea that you put the Stargazer in danger doesn't work, because we know what happened to the Stargazer, unless they're going to do it out of continuity. And I'm convinced that with Star Trek for Strange New Worlds, that they would have no problem destroying that Enterprise, because they're basically doing their own thing anyway.
Well, see, in my mind, I think that's one of the reasons I couldn't get into Strange New Worlds, is because of that aspect. If they had just said, Discovery and Strange New Worlds are in a different universe, period, it opens up so many more storytelling possibilities. Like, he had a glimpse of his future, but we're in a different timeline. His future's not fixed. And then it could be, just imagine the storytelling elements of him trying to avoid that future.
He did. That was one episode.
They should, in my opinion, just come out and admit that this is an alternate reality, and that would, and then there's so much forgiveness from the fan base that would occur at that point, because they've already changed the design of the ship and the interior sets. The technology is different. The verbiage is different. If they just say, "Look, this is our spin on it," and own it, I think that the Star Trek fans, the longtime ones like Salty, would be, he's sort of acquiesced. He's basically convinced himself that it is a alternate reality, but the rest of the franchise doesn't. You go to Memory Alpha, they're trying to shoehorn Discovery continuity into TOS and stuff, and it just doesn't work. Based on the decisions.
In my mind, my personal headcanon, it's a separate reality.
Yeah, it has to be. It looks different. It acts different. It's
So but I will say the updated Enterprise that they did use for Strange New Worlds, I think it looks gorgeous.
It does look pretty nice. I admit that. I do like that. The sets, on the other hand, I'm not crazy about the bridge. I'm not crazy about Pike's quarters, but the thing is, I know how big that ship is supposed to be, and unless it's bigger now than it was in the old series, a lot of those sets don't work for me. But
unless it's like the size of the JJ Enterprise, where it's the size of a freaking Galaxy class,
or bigger. There's actually evidence that it might be bigger than the Galaxy class. So it's
bigger on the inside, boys.
Yeah, there's that too. That Discovery's that whole sequence in Discovery where they show the turbo lifts and it's like a network of turbo lifts intersecting and stuff inside the ship.
I hated that. I hated that.
Where was the part?
Yeah. I'm like, where does that fit in? It's just
yeah. It's a cool visual and all, but I'm like, unless it's a fucking space station, it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Fuck, I had a thought and then it just left me. Damn it.
It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. Yeah.
So, Yvette, how have you been?
Oh, I know what I was gonna make. I was gonna make the joke. It was the Starship Enterprise 1701 TARDS or TRRDIS.
No, yeah.
A type 40 type 40 Enterprise.
Yeah,
Enterprise.
Type 40. Yeah, I like that.
Turn the parking brake off. I don't want to hear that sound.
Or at the very end, they flip a switch and they turn off the chameleon circuit and it turns back into a police box or something.
Police box, yeah. Well, actually, it should be a cylinder, Darren. If you watch the originals,
that is true. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was a cylinder in New Who as well when it was turned off. Yeah.
It was also a piano. It was also a boulder.
It wasn't a piano. It was an organ.
Or organ, sorry.
And it was a plinth or a column, depending on how you looked at it. And that was the Tom Baker finale.
Yeah.
Hey, am I coming in okay? Or am I still echoing?
Wow.
No, you're all right.
You're fine.
Okay.
A little loud.
Oh,
a little loud
sorry.
though. What's funny is, you know what episode I actually watched last night before I went to bed?
What?
Was The Doctor's Wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one where time stops. The one.
That's the one where Neil Gaiman wrote it, where he didn't know what the sign on the door meant.
Oh, yeah, that's the TARDIS. And the
TARDIS
planet
comes alive.
Yeah. Whether it's
sorry.
body.
Yeah, it's the one that Neil Gaiman wrote where he didn't know what the sign on the door was actually for.
Yeah.
It was very, very embarrassing for
It
him, and
was, yeah.
he got really salty about it online when people pointed it out. You know, so you understand, well, Mike, there in that episode, as you know, the TARDIS essentially, the soul of the TARDIS goes into a woman's body, and so that the doctor's able to talk to the TARDIS now, and they have a conversation, and she says, "What does the sign on my door say?" And he says, "Pull to open." And she goes, "Well, what do you do?" He says, "I push to open it."
Yes.
And the problem there is that sign actually refers to the extra little door on the door that has the phone in it, and you are supposed to pull to open that door, not the door that you use to get in and out of the TARDIS.
No,
And-
they
and-
were a Yale
Oh,
lock
yeah.
that opened in
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah, it was, and it makes sense that you had to push to get in because it was meant to be a makeshift prison. Those police boxes. So Neil Gaiman, who is a British guy who's been living in Wisconsin for about 30 years, apparently, either didn't know this or forgot it or something. And man, when people pointed that out, he got really defensive, and that's when he no fucks given. He started going after fans, and yeah, he's had some problems since then. But yeah,
Which I don't know how he made such a daft mistake because he is a Who fan. He was definitely a Who fan.
And the word I would say it was a mistake, and just going, it was a mistake. Who cares? It was still a very funny line.
Yeah, it was if it had if it actually meant what he said it meant, then it would have been great. But my thing is who approved this? I mean, these things have to be proofridden and approved on and stuff. So I mean, clearly the people at the BBC didn't have a problem with it, but a lot of those people at the BBC weren't alive when those police boxes were around in real life. And so they wouldn't catch it either. And that's there was a time when mistakes like that wouldn't have been made, but we're not in that time anymore. So, but yeah,
that we're about 50 years past that time.
right, yeah, exactly.
We do still have a few. Not in
Star
service.
Trek. Yeah. Star Trek made continuity problems like that too, and errors. So I mean, it's not a huge deal, but again, there was a time
in the Whovian community, that one.
Yeah.
I remember it coming up, and I'm like, he should have known better.
Right. And there was a time when a mistake like that would be made, the fans didn't have such direct access to the talent behind the shows through social media to complain about it.
Yeah.
Right. And it used to be there was this attitude that the talent in show business would let the critics in the newspapers, and that's where they usually were, the newspapers, say whatever they wanted. That's their job. Their job was to ignore it, continue working. But now everybody's connected through social media, and they can't help themselves anymore. Somebody criticizes the validity of an episode or a line in an episode or a movie or something, and we see what happens. You don't just have toxic fandom anymore. You've got toxic professionals who call the fan base names and things because they found a problem with something that they did.
Yeah, I wish more creators and fans would take the Shigeru Miyamoto approach when it comes to like Mario and Zelda and stuff, where he goes, look, I'm going to make a good game with a decent storyline first, and you can argue about the continuity aspects later.
But that's a game. That's not something like Doctor Who.
That's
that is ingrained.
Yeah.
For a good storyline, they'll ignore previous continuity as long as the storyline's good enough.
Not in Doctor Who, they don't.
No, it's like somebody takes a show like Doctor Who, and they take over as a showrunner, and they decided to make the TARDIS bright red. Whovians will go ape shit over this because this is not Doctor Who. It's bluish green, greenish blue. Come on, it's the base color of the TARDIS. These are the Daleks. Every blue when the Daleks became rainbows. I'm like, come on.
A certain showrunner did a lot. Made a lot.
Hold on, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would make that a little bit different, Elihu, because that's like saying, because they've referenced the fact that he's, the blue box, the blue box, the blue box. It's been said so many times.
Right.
I would compare that, though, to like when Star Trek Deep Space Nine first came out and everyone complaining about it's not on the Enterprise, it's not real Star Trek. Or like when Transformers Beast Wars came out and they're like, it's truck, not monkey.
Yeah.
But
I
once
mean,
they realized
you
it was
have
good written really well, they let it slide.
Yeah. But then you have a showrunner of Doctor Who that would made way more than just superficial changes. Obviously, we're talking about Chibnall, and he fundamentally he fundamentally mangled the entire IP of Doctor Who on purpose because the Doctor Who lore wasn't what he liked and wasn't good enough, and the big crime is that the BBC let him do it.
Let him.
Chin balls.
His very
Call him by
first
his name
season.
properly. I'm sorry. Call him by his name properly. It's chin balls.
Okay.
His very first season, his directive for the stories were no original monsters. So we ended up with dusters that attacked you, talking frogs, Amazon-based stupid robots, which was one of the better ones, I might add, and I'm being kind.
Right.
That season was thrown out by every Doctor Who fan. Everyone. That's why season 12 had to bring them back.
Try not to do too many spoilers because I'm rewatching Who so I can finally watch the ones that are so low. As I said, I haven't seen past Peter Capaldi.
Is this spoiler? The Doctor prevails.
The only thing I will say that he couldn't get round was the Daleks, right?
Right.
Because of Terry Nation's estate.
Right.
BBC loses control of ever using them if the Daleks do not appear in each season once minimum.
Right.
But what he did at the end of that very first season on the special was disgusting. He turned it into a Victorian lady.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all right. I'm sorry.
I'm all right. I'm okay. Yeah.
You know, talking about chin balls does to me.
Yeah.
I had to sit through it all.
I mean,
Hang on a second, Darren. Yvette.
Last night.
Yvette.
I'm still
Pause. Yvette, mute your sound. Go make yourself a nice cup of tea and come back.
I mean, Discovery fundamentally changed the Klingons in a way that was irreconcilable with the rest of the of the franchise. That was another, they had ships referred to as D7 battle cruisers that were clearly not D7 battle cruisers. It would be like having a great big, like in Star Wars, if you had the great big like tubular ship that had a little X on the side, and they called it an X-wing. It's like that's not an X-wing. But that's I don't know what the logic is other than Secret. And again, Doomcock has his theory that Secret Hideout had merchandising rights for anything that they designed themselves for this show, and that they were trying to get that exclusive money. And but the merch that sells when it comes to Star Trek is the stuff from before Secret Hideout and J.J. Abrams. It's all the classic stuff. Eagle Moss, before they went under, had to merge their XL line.
I would only slightly disagree with that, Darren, because as a vendor, one of the things I've had to work on is the Rydal. I think it's Rydal Moss or Rydal model kits. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the one that consistently sells out at all my stores is the USS Discovery model.
Yeah, but don't you live in California?
According to Doug Drexler, whenever classics and newer Star Trek competes with the Secret Hideout material, Secret Hideout always loses. that the stuff that people want to buy is based off the stuff that came out before the JJ films and such. That it's all Berman era and Desilu era.
But, I mean, Eagle Moss has been rescued, Darren, by the way.
Yes.
The two that are consistently put in clearance or put on clearance are the Grissom and Bird of Prey combined set and the Xinjiao. Those are the two ships that never seem to sell, or the two sets that never seem to sell. And it
Grissom
because
isn't a popular. Yeah.
The Grissom and Bird of Prey set, you get two for the price of one. How can you not do that one?
If you, they're also smaller, as I recall, too. I've seeing them on shelves. You had two small ships instead of one full size one. If they had combined that Bird of Prey with something else like a Jem'Hadar fighter, beetle ship or something, I think it would have seen more sales. But again, that's anecdotal. Doug Drexler goes on national YouTube audience on Trek Yards and says that the stuff that sells is the stuff that he designed and other people designed basically 20th century Star Trek is what he calls it now, even though Enterprise was in the beginning of the 21st century. But, and I'll take his word for it because he's got access to that information based on the fact that he gets a small, cut of that. But
let's see, the models that I've had to pack out every year for like the last few years, and they haven't changed since Discovery came out, is the USS Discovery, the Shenzhou, the original Constitution, the Reliant, and the Bird of Prey and Grissom combo. Those are the five.
Speaking of Bird of Prey, he's backstage.
Yeah, Eagle Moss was losing their ass on the Discovery stuff. They had their regular XL line, and they also had a Discovery XL line, and they had to merge the two because nobody was subscribing to the Discovery XL line. So all of a sudden, the Discovery XL line disappeared from their website, and then I got the notice that my next ship was going to be, I think it was the Discovery Enterprise in my XL subscription. That's when I canceled my subscription and decided I would
lost subscription anymore.
Hey, bud.
I'd had the XL subscription for about a year, and it was great. I was getting ships that I liked, and then all of a sudden they started putting Discovery ships in the lineup, and I'm like, nope, out. And I unsubbed. And last year about this time, they were still in operation in their original arrangement, and I ordered the XL Stargazer, and I don't think I'm ever going to get that ship because they went away last year, and now apparently they've been rescued. Yvette's saying, but
of all the Discovery ships, the Discovery Enterprise is the least offensive.
I agree, yeah, but I still had some problems with it. But
I personally wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I mean I
do buy Eagle Moss, so
yeah. The only JJ era ship that I liked was the Franklin because it reminded me a little bit of the NX-01, but I still wouldn't necessarily pay money for it. But anyway, apparently Eagle Moss's priority here is that Enterprise D subscription that everybody was getting a piece of.
They're shipping that out again now. Yeah. They've got all that sorted. There's another company. I was reading about it the other day. I can't even remember the company, but someone's put some money in and they're clawing it back. They're launching back the stuff that sells first. Right. Before they look at some of the other big franchises they were gonna be doing. So Star Trek, Doctor Who is a huge one for them. So
I've heard. I'm reading here rumors that they might not be going with the WWE stuff anymore.
More than likely, because that was still in the planning stage, wasn't it? I think.
No, they had years worth of pro wrestler figurines and things.
Right.
And I don't know how well they sold, but I mean, ever since WWE,
the new company will be shifting the stuff that doesn't sell, as well as the stuff that goes.
Right.
And I was relieved to hear that because Eagle Moss, it's been around so long.
Yeah, they were hit and miss, but I actually even the one when I got one that was lackluster. Like I didn't like their regular size Stargazer. I love the magazine that came with it. You know what I mean? The little.
I know. I never got the magazine stuff, but
yeah.
you know, I've got some original Who Eagle Moss monsters, and they are stunning. They're so detailed. I've got Morbius. I can't even remember now. Yeah, the Time Lord fights Tom Baker. You know, and that monster's incredible. But then I've also got a Weeping Angel. You know, and a lot of the new Who ones they launched because they were easy to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You even have the multicolored Daleks, of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
That's a Dalek.
Oh, the Paradigm Daleks.
I have the entire set, including the green one, which was never shown but was on the drawing board. The green one was the Scientist. So of course I had to get that one.
Right.
And I saw them live at Manchester because my dad entered a competition and I won front row seats to go see Doctor Who live, and it was with Matt Smith, and the Paradigms were all there. They are massive compared to a normal Dalek, which was a whole what Stephen Moffat was trying to do. I mean, they had big asses. That was the problem everyone had with them.
Humpbacked.
However, compared to what Chinballs did, the Paradigms became liked.
You know, Yvette, I'm very surprised. Last year, you didn't run to London for those few hours to catch pictures of the Daleks on the street for Election Day. I am very surprised you didn't do that.
Because I stay out of London as much as possible.
I
just want to go back a little bit. The reason I couldn't do the Eagle Moss is I want everything to be the same scale.
Right.
Well, you either buy one or the other. You know.
Yeah.
They do the XL, they do the standard.
But they're not to scale with each other, is what he's saying. So the Defiant XL is the same length as the Reliant XL and the same length as the Galaxy Class XL. And
in reality, you wouldn't want a runabout that was the same scale as the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
One of my
it'd
favorite.
be like
I've got a runabout and the Enterprise D, both Eagle Moss and the original, and I've got the Pasteur as well. And
right. I'm saying that they were at the same scale.
Yeah, no,
you wouldn't want it.
No.
Back in the days, they had the Star Trek micro machines. My favorite ones were the Refit Connie and the Reliant, along with the Stargazer and the Defiant, because all of those were the same scale with each other.
Right. Yeah. They worked better that way. But honestly, you know, it's funny is like, and I think I did a video on this. I don't know if it's still up. It was a Salty Trekker video or whatnot. But, you know, the Defiant was never to scale with anything that you saw on Deep Space Nine. And they had to enlarge it. You know, that famous shot where they show it docked at Deep Space Nine. They had to enlarge it in order for you to be able to see it, because I have an image of what the Defiant would actually have looked like docked at Deep Space Nine if it was actually to scale, and I'll share it here briefly.
Well, I was talking about the reason I said the Defiant was to scale was because the scene they used twice when they had the Defiant flanked by a Miranda class on either side.
Right.
You could
that was
easily
pretty
see
good.
that they were nearly the same size.
Yeah.
So I could be like, okay, this one, even though the Reliant is several more decks, apparently, you can see that they're the same scale.
Right. I'm sharing an image here. This is what the Defiant would have looked like docked at Deep Space Nine if it was actually to scale with the ship. You would not have seen it. I mean, you know, they had to enlarge it so you could see the ship when it was docked and such. And there's something similar with the Bird of Prey. The Bird of Prey was roughly in the same league as in size wise, but they had to enlarge it. You know, So I thought that was cute.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, Vilemike, I'm gonna dip out, but thank you for having me up. So
good to see you.
Alrighty.
Did you ever pick up that piece of trash, or did you just kick it more?
No, I picked it up.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Later,
Take
dude.
care.
There. Good luck.
Thanks.
Yep.
And I'm gonna take out myself because I'm getting hungry. I need to eat.
All right. Well, after I end the stream, I got to do a little bit of shopping with Mrs. Vile, and then I got to head back to the States because I screwed up and forgot to grab something from the storage unit to ship out tomorrow.
Going back to Cali.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to let you go then, Vile. Thanks for having me this morning.
Well, I'm not heading out just yet. I'm just saying that's what I got to do.
All right.
I'm sure
Well,
Mrs. Vile will let me know when we got to go get stuff.
Elihu has got the right idea. I'm going to go grab something to eat as well. So I will see you guys later.
Okay.
Well, what the hell just happened? He said I had the right idea. Well, who are you? What you do with Darren?
Over.
Who are you? What you do with Darren? What the hell?
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
No, you do like that saying, Darren.
I do. I use it too much. I realize. All right. See you later.
Later, guys.
Later.
Oh, and Yvette, I gotta email you some pictures.
Yes, you have. You still haven't.
Sorry. Oops.
Oh, and yeah, Yvette, the only reason I sent you the email last night was because Mrs. Vile finally reminded me to send it last night.
That's fine. I've got it in my inbox, so I'll now remember as well. You know.
But
it will all be done and dusted on Wednesday.
What's funny is I would get at the weirdest times, like as I'm filling out my work paperwork inside of a store. Like I just finished packing out, diapers for, the Depends diapers. I'd be like, oh yeah, I gotta email Yvette. Or I just finished packing out baby food, and it would be like, oh, I gotta email Yvette. And I'd always forget by the time I got back to my car.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I walk into a room frequently and think, what am I doing in here?
Oh, I got mad at myself earlier because I could not find my car keys. So right before I start the stream, I asked Mrs. Vile, hey, while I'm doing the stream, can you look for my car keys? And as soon as I said it, I saw the car keys sitting on her dresser. And her only response was, I'm just that efficient.
Nice.
Oh, dear. Wow. We got some good episodes today, Bird.
I don't know if they're good or not since I've never seen them.
Oh, right. Well, that's cool, actually.
But
watching them for the first time.
We've got 5 different stories across 2 episodes.
Well, that's good.
Cool.
So chances are one of them will be decent.
Are you still in the 80s one?
We are. We're at we're near the end of season 2. Next week will be the end of season 2.
Yep.
We've got the card.
And how many seasons did the 80s one last?
3.
Okay.
3 seasons. Now the 3rd season, they went into syndication. And the 3rd season seems to be the longest of the 3. The 2nd season is the shortest.
Yeah, we seem to have got through 2 seasons quite quickly. Well,
the 2nd
time is
season,
passing that fast.
Yeah, was a relatively short season. We've got, and it kind of got like they skipped a lot of time. Like last week we saw December. This week is February and then May, and then next week will be July. They were very inconsistent with when they aired. I don't know. So we got the card, the junction, Joyride, Shelter Skelter, and Private Channel. None of which mean anything to me.
Same here. I don't think I've seen a lot of that era of Twilight Zone. I did see the Forrest Whitaker run, and I thought some of those episodes were pretty good, but that was, I haven't seen them since they were first aired.
None of the names of the stars ring a bell either. So
I did see the 80s one when it came out, but I haven't seen it since. So I don't even recall half. So,
I may have seen like a couple episodes here and there in syndication on Sci-Fi Channel, but that's about it.
When we get to season 3, Louise Fletcher is one of the earlier episodes. Kai Wynn.
Yep. I was going to say that.
That'll be something. But
speaking of another, person that had an effect on us that passed away recently. Too many of them. What's been going on with everyone that's been dying? That's not right?
The older you get, the more it happens, Mike.
Yeah, I'll never forget when Leonard Nimoy actually passed away. It was the first time me and the Vile Child could commiserate together about one of our favorite actors passing away. Unfortunately, with my other 2 daughters, I don't have that connection with, because they don't know anyone I talk about, and I don't know anyone they talk about.
This planet has changed so much over my lifetime.
Well, like, one of the things I've had to pack out recently is a lot of Harry Styles magazines. And I had to ask him, who the fuck is Harry Styles and why the fuck is he so popular that 5 different magazine companies need to put him on the cover?
Yeah, I don't know who he is either. Sorry.
I didn't know it was a person.
Apparently, what they told me is he's from One Direction. And I'm like, what's One Direction?
I know that's a band.
One Direction, weren't they the dancers originally and then turned into a band? Or am I thinking
I have
something
no
else?
idea. I couldn't tell you a single one of their songs.
No, me neither. Hey, I didn't know who Adele was. Darren never lets me forget that.
Oh, I'm one of those people that I heard a bunch of Adele's songs beforehand, and then I saw her on TV, and I'm like, what? She's white?
I'm terrible with music because I would rather listen to an audiobook. Now, interestingly, my mother knew who Adele was, so that gives you sort of.
I didn't know Jimi Hendrix was black until about 5 years ago.
Oh, I knew about that, but that's only because I had one of his records.
I knew he was black because I saw him in Madame Tussauds in London.
But like one of the funniest ones that I've ever come across was my stepmom really likes reality TV. It's a guilty pleasure of hers. And I was over at her house one night having dinner, and she was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And that was the first time I saw Kim Kardashian. And I'm like, she's got brown hair? I thought she was a blonde. I don't know why. When I heard the name Kim Kardashian, I immediately thought blonde-headed bimbo.
Nice.
And it was stuck with me. So when I finally saw her, I'm like, that is not who I thought that would look like. And this was like 7 years after the infamous video came out. So
I've never seen him. Never watched it. I just don't bother with it. It's inconsequential crap.
Yeah.
Which pleases the sheeples.
I will give her credit. She's a great business person because she's been able to roll that into so many different avenues of making money.
I'm not knocking them. I can't be doing with wasting my time. I will not waste my time on stuff like that.
Well, I completely agree. But I'm act of turning her porn, the accidental porn career into something actually lucrative, where she gets money from it. Turning that into a reality TV show, turning that into a clothing line, a fragrance line, a jewelry line, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, I gotta say, she turned it around and she made money out of it. I mean, you gotta be impressed with that.
As I
And
said,
it is
I'm
her.
not knocking it. I'm not knocking it. It's my own personal views on it. But I think the only reality show I ever stopped to watch occasionally was sort of Survivor or a Bear Grylls thing, because I'm a sadistic bitch, really. You know, watching
the
people
only
be
reality
tortured.
TV show I ever watched and watched it all the way through and enjoyed the entire thing, and hell, I even cried, was Who Wants to Be a Superhero?
I've never even heard of that one.
It was it
Never
only
heard
lasted
of it
2
either.
seasons. It was a reality show where various people who had their own created superhero personas were judged by Stan Lee himself, and the winner of the contest was either featured in a comic book or in a made-for-TV Sci-Fi Channel movie. And at the time, the reason I actually cried at one point was, I will never forget this. There was a character by the name of his superhero name was like Major Victory. He was a former male stripper who was trying to, change his life around because he had lost custody of his daughter and stuff like that. And when he got dismissed by Stan Lee, Stan had his daughter call him and tell him that even though he was being voted off the show, or not, was being dismissed from the show, she was still his hero despite everything. And at the time, I was going through a big custody battle with the vile child's mom, and it just hit me at that exact moment, and it just hit me in the feels. I can't say anything else. And I enjoyed that series very much. I am surprised it didn't get picked up for more than 2 seasons.
Wow.
I'll see if I can bring up a clip. And of course, I got one of those cars coming by, so hold on.
I am lying. I did tune in for the very first Big Brother, but lost interest very quickly, because that was sort of the first ever reality TV show there was. Well, over here anyway.
I'm just trying to see if I can bring it up without just the clip, not the whole episode, because apparently the whole episodes are on YouTube.
Oh. Well, I won't be hunting for the mic, to be honest. I've lost my love for superheroes anyway.
And apparently his name was Major Victory, and his the person who played him was Chris Waters. I know that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but that's what I'm looking up when I was trying to find the clip. Yeah, I could only find the whole episode. I'm not going to go through the whole episode to find it. But yeah, it was. If you ever do see it, it might hit you in the feels too.
I cried when David Tennant regenerated into Matt Smith. If that helps.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever... Doctor Who has never hit me in the feels like that before. I enjoyed the show, but I've never been emotionally wrought. I
cried when Tom Baker left as well. So, that's probably the only 2 times. Yeah.
Let's see. The only other thing I think I've ever cried at was the Will Smith movie Pursuit of Happiness, for pretty much the same reason.
I've not seen that. The one movie that consistently, and I avoid watching it because the ending makes me cry, is The Fly, Jeff Goldblum, believe it or not. because when he turns into that thing and she's got the gun and he lifts it up with his claw and puts it to his head, and the big fly eyes are looking at her going, please kill me. That always gets me for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, I would have shot it way before then, but
Well, I take it back. There was one other movie where I cried at, and it was the not Fast and Furious, Gone in 60 Seconds remake, the one with Angelina Jolie and Nicolas Cage. I cried when they put. I cried when they put Eleanor in the car crusher, and they crushed the 1967 Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500.
Well, that's just wrong.
I know. I cried.
That is wrong. I mean,
they were big manly tears.
Impala 67 black, I will cry.
Oh,
that's the only car I would buy now.
I'm not even a huge Mustang fan, but that's a Shelby, and not just any Shelby, the GT 500.
Hey, come on, Bird. If they squashed one of your favorite Jeeps, I'm sure your heart would blip a bit.
Only if it was my Jeep. If it was a Jeep I actually own, then I would tear up for sure.
Yeah, there we go. You know what?
I mean, I've teared up in plenty of movies.
Yeah.
Like even Forrest Gump and The Green Mile.
Oh, The Green Mile, yes. That's definitely. I didn't
cry,
but I was very emotional.
Futurama.
Oh, the dog. The dog. Oh my God. Yes, I did cry on that episode.
I didn't cry, but yeah, that was another one that hit you in the
actually
feels.
several Futurama episodes.
The one where they found, the dog's left waiting for Fry at the end.
The dog by far the most.
Oh my God.
But the luck of the
Fry. I think next time on the next stream, because the next stream is actually going to take place after, I've already set it up. Because next Friday is I'm taking my daughters on a daddy-daughter dance that their school is putting on. So it might fit in if we just talk about all the shows and episodes that have hit us in the feels next time. So what do you guys think?
I'll have to think about some of the things. Not a lot makes me cry, but I did cry at the end of Supernatural. There you go. I can talk about that.
All right. Well, we've been going for over 2.5 hours. So
yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't come on before. You start at 4.
No worries. No worries.
You know my schedule, so yeah. No, it's always fun coming on.
All right. I will see you guys next week. So later, folks.
Yes, have a good week.